And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes. Look, I just wanted to make a quick video today. Nothing crazy going on in my team, but we did get some new reward cards. So, I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed in the reward cards we got. Not saying they're not good. I mean, they're definitely tight, for sure. Like, there's nothing really wrong with either of the cards that we got today. I'm just a little bit disappointed because around this time last year, we got Dissinger and Jack Marin, who were like literally two of the best cards in the game. And the guys we got today were just, they're usable. Like, they're pretty good. So let's start with Gus Williams and Triple Threat Offline. Now, look, a lot of people probably aren't going to grind really heavy for Gus Williams, kind of looking at him. He's not terrible. Like, an 82 shot three is not the worst thing in the world, but he does have like a 90 driving dunk and 98 speed with ball and acceleration, which is pretty solid, obviously. Like, he's not the most overpowered card in the world, certainly. He is a pretty good point guard. He's 6'2 with a 6'3 wingspan, but he does look a little bit bigger than that. I mean, I guess he looks like 6'3. He doesn't look massive or anything. The Hoff badges are solid. I mean, the gold badges, especially in the shooting department, are a little bit lax. Like, he has catch and shoot, corner specialist, difficult, green machine, hot zone hunter with not great hot zones for a point guard, I'll be honest. He doesn't have any at the top of the key, which I think kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Lucky number 7, volume shooter, rhythm. He's missing pretty much some pretty important badges. Let's be real here. He's missing like Deadeye, Sniper, Limitless, Chef, and Blinders. Those are pretty important badges, right? Not the worst release in the world. Like, Kemba Walker base on Quick is actually pretty good. I believe Reggie Lewis has Kemba on Quick, so it's the same release. So it's a very, very good release. And let's be real. I mean, Gus Williams is kind of a dribble god. Like, he's fast. He can kind of go from 0 to 60 real quick. He has fundamental dribble style, which I don't hate, but I know a lot of people do. The Kyrie behind the back's not great. The Jordan crossover's fine. Everything seems to be in order here as far as like creating and attacking the rim. He plays really, really good defense too, with like Hoff ankle braces, clamps, pick dodger, and pickpocket. He doesn't have rim protector, which I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world, especially if you're playing on current gen. Like, it's really not as detrimental as it is over on next gen. On next gen, if you're running a point guard without, rim protector, if it's offline, it's not a big deal. But if you go play online, you're just going to get abused by a sweat lord using like LaMelo or Magic or another large point guard that's just going to post you up every single time. He's got pretty much every playmaking badge. He's got dimer, downhill, floor general, quick chain, quick first step, and triple threat. Once again, not the best badges in the world, but they're okay. So here's the thing about Gus Williams. If you are a comp level sweat lord, should you go out of your way to go grind for Gus Williams? No, I would say no, unless you're like a card collector and you just want every single card, then sure. But especially if you're like a new player, or even relatively new, like if you got the game for Christmas or something like that, you could do a lot worse than going and like playing a bunch of TT offline trying to get Gus Williams. Especially if you play offline. If you play offline, Gus Williams is going to be a really fun card to use for sure. It's not like he's going to be unusable online, but just kind of keeping it real. He's good. It's just I'm kind of disappointed as far as like how underwhelming the card is. The card's just kind of okay. You know what I mean? He's just not the greatest card in the world. And then we got our new TTO. We got Dan Issel, who honestly I expected us to get a Dan Issel card at some point. I just wasn't sure exactly when that was going to be. And I didn't think today was going to be the day. But, it is what it is. We got Dan Issel. TTO is a sweatland at the moment because Issel is really good. So he can kind of move too. That's the other thing. Like, he only has 78 speed with ball and 83 ball handle, but for a 6'9 power forward, that's pretty solid. 85 speed isn't great either, but he has Kevin Love base, which I think Kevin Love base is really, really good. Off the catch and shoot. He's not the greatest off the dribble, but it's not terrible at all. It's pretty good. It's like, I would say like a top 15 release off the dribble, but it's like a borderline top 5 release on the catch and shoot, in my opinion. Right? People are going to disagree with that, but Kevin Love base on a big man is actually really crazy this year. I don't know. He's got fundamental dribble style. His dribble moves aren't very good, but I mean, he can move for sure. 87 shot 3 with Kevin Love base is fantastic. Looking at his badges, I mean, his finishing badges are mostly interior, but he does have like Fearless and like Giant Slayer and stuff. But the shooting badges, like he has Hoff Limitless spot up, Hoff Corner, Hoff Catch and Shoot, Set Shooter, and Sniper, and then even comes with like Gold Blinders, gold volume, which volume shooter is one of those badges where people don't talk about that badge enough, but it's significantly more important than you would expect. It's something like if you can put it on a card, if it doesn't have it already, it's something I highly recommend putting on there. He does need some additional shooting badges. Like he has every hot zone in the game pretty much. So hot zone hunter is pretty important for him. So I expect hot zone hunter to go up in price a little bit today. So it's definitely something to go check out. Green machine, clutch shooter. Honestly, I don't think it's a bad idea to give him chef. He doesn't have quick first step either. So like this card has weaknesses. But I mean, he does have like Hoff, Brick Wall, Intimidator, Rebound Chaser, Worm, pretty much every other gold defensive badge. Now, the badges that you'd want to put on this card would be Quick First Step for sure, without a doubt, no question. Menace, ankle braces, and then you would want to give him a few of the shooting badges. I would highly recommend Hot Zone Hunter and Clutch Shooter would be the two that I would specifically would recommend, right? Now, the thing is, should you go like indoctrinate yourself in the world of sweat to try to get this card, I don't think he's as good as people are saying. Now, that being said, like, I'm not trying to be a hater out here. Like, it is what it is. He's a good card. He's a very good reward, more than usable. Like, you could definitely get away with running Dan Issel as your like starting power forward for sure. Let's be real though, most of the people grinding for Dan Issel are not going to use Dan Issel, and that's what always drives me nuts about the 2K community in regards to like reward cards, because people will actively go out of their way to try to get these cards and like basically gatekeep people who would actually use this card away from getting it. You know what I mean? Like, most of the sweat lords you run into on this game are probably going to have better power forwards than Dan Issel. Like, is Dan Issel really even better than Siakam? No, I don't think so. It's close for sure. But I mean, if you happen to be playing TTO anyway for any variety of reasons, like, and you get Dan Issel, yeah, he's really good. It's just kind of a bummer because I thought we were going to see some like game changing rewards here, and they're kind of just okay. But I should have really expected that with like, you know, the season coming to an end. And well, I mean, obviously it's like still 3 weeks away, but like, you know, we're in the last half of the season. In addition to that, you know, we have the moments of the month coming this week and stuff like that. So I really should have expected that. Now, this is a good thing though, because Dan Issel being even a little bit hyped is a good thing, because a lot of the sweat lords are going to be away from clutch time. They're going to be away from unlimited. There's not very many of them in draft anyway, but you know, they're going to be away from draft also. So if you have any stuff you need to do in any of these modes, like, now's a pretty good time to play them, because you're not going to be playing the sweatiest of sweats, because they're all going to be playing TTO trying to get Issel, at least today. You know what I mean? So I think that is pretty cool. Now, will either of these two free reward cards affect the price of anyone specifically? I don't think so, because not a lot of people use Karolinko at the power forward, so I don't think his price goes down at all. I mean, he's at about 50K. It's still worth picking him up for that price, but Porzingis is way up. I mean, he was like 40K the other day. Now he's like 70 something. I've played 5 triple threat online games today since, you know, Issel came out, just trying to get up to the top board. I'm going to run the top board 2 times, and if I don't see him, I don't care anymore. I have run into Porzingis every single game I've played, which I find kind of interesting, but it is what it is. I mean, he's a fun card. I don't think this affects the price of realistically anybody, like, at all. So there's no real market tips here. The one thing I will say, though, is like, you know, ball handle boosts are going to be up, because there's a lot of hype on Dan Issel right now. A lot of people are liking him. So if you have any ball handle boosts, like, we could see an upshoot in those prices for sure. He's got an 83 ball handle. If you can get him up to, like, you know, obviously like an 86 at the minimum, like, it's going to be fine. In addition to that, probably Hot Zone Hunter, I expect to go up at least a little bit. I mean, you could buy Hot Zone Hunter for 500 MT a couple days ago. So the badge itself is not very expensive, but I expect it to go up quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to make the craziest profit if you bought a bunch of Hot Zone Hunters at 400, you know, a week or so ago, but you can at least make almost double your investment realistically, you know? 700 MT Hot Zone Hunter, I'm not kidding, is like the cheapest effective badge this year. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy, to be honest. I don't think we see any, you know, price rises on stuff like Hyperdrive or anything like that for Dan Issel. Now, that being said, we're going to see a huge huge inflation in the badge market as far as the cost of badges, probably Friday, I would guess. And the reason I say that is because the moments cards are going to come out, and you guys know how 2K is. They are like very, very good at putting out cards that everyone's going to want, but they need like significant badge upgrades. A good example would be DeMar DeRozan. Everybody grinded for a DeMar DeRozan. And is that the ostrich basketball? I have to give a soaring player. Okay, the dragon scale basketball is kind of cool. I guess I haven't really been in the exchange in a while. I mean, none of these are really worth it. Antonio McDyess, I think, is still worth it though. He's especially because you can get diamond players for like 2,000 MT now. You can get McDyess for like 10K, which I think is probably worth it. He's still good. But like realistically, they're gonna come out with these moments cards. There's gonna be some banger moments cards in there for sure. I mean, just looking at the last moments drop, you know, there was some banger ones. Obviously, DeMar DeRozan was really good, but he needed like 10 badges to be like realistically tight. You know what I mean? And then Jaylen Brown was pretty good off rip. You didn't really need to give him anything as far as like badges. Realistically, I don't think I gave him a single thing. Yeah, I really didn't. He was pretty much good immediately. But then, you know, every one of these like quote unquote usable ones. Giddey was another example of like a player who like needed some badge additions like limitless takeoff and like hyperdrive and stuff to really be effective. So I would expect that to be the case again with the next moments of the month drop. I don't expect it to be realistically any different than this one though. I expect another 97 overall reward, bunch of 95 pink diamonds, you know. I would expect 94 diamonds instead of 93s. Like we could see something where it's like 94 diamonds instead of 93s, and then we'll see some like maybe lower diamonds or amethysts. I don't know if we get any rubies this time. It would be cool to see some sapphires in the mix because those can be really effective for a variety of things, but it is what it is. So realistically, I mean, don't put pressure on yourself to get this Dan Issel card just because content creators say he's good. Like, you guys know how 2K operates. Like, we're getting an entire moments of the month drop, which I'm sure will be filled with online objectives that like alienate parts of the player base. But either way, like, there's no point in stressing yourself out to try to get Dan Issel when like legitimately we're gonna have like you know a moments drop in like 3 days. I don't think we see it before Friday. Some people are saying, oh, we're going to see it tomorrow. I don't think that's going to be the case. Obviously, I'd be stoked if that happened, but I personally think they're going to drop it on Friday with the content, which means the content we're getting is probably not going to be that good, if I'm being honest. When did we get these moments? I'm trying to think. I can't remember exactly when we got them. Here, let me check the updates because I want to see what kind of content we got along with it because I don't remember. We got Iced Out 2. Yeah, Iced Out 2, I mean, was okay. I mean, I had Derry Dissinger and Chris Bosh. Those two cards were really good. The budget options, Oladipo and Mike Miller, were fun. Garland's pretty good. Bol was in it. I mean, we could see a pretty good set, but I think it'd be closer to this than it would be to like the Beast set, obviously. So it wouldn't shock me to see even limited edition. Honestly, that would make a whole lot of sense from 2K's angle. You know what I mean? You drop all these free cards so people won't criticize you as hard, and then you drop the most aggressively monetized packs that you have in your arsenal. Yeah, that sounds right. I think that's correct. Anyways, it's been your boy Cheap Ludes. Don't stress out about Dan Issel, regardless how much a content creator says he's good. Like, he looks okay, but there's really no reason to sit there and go overboard and play 1.5 million like triple threat online games and get your blood pressure all raised up. There's like no reason to do any of that. And as far as Gus Williams, if you want to go grind for Gus Williams, like, dude, it's fine. Like, go do it. I'm sure he'll be helpful for like Thunder / Sonics spotlight sims in the near future. So wouldn't be shocked to see those next season. You know what I mean? So having like an Opal point guard that can rim run at the level he can, especially over on current gen, is going to be very helpful against the CPU. So have a good day, guys. I'll be back with more content later, and peace out.